The movie opens in Afghanistan, 2021. Malik, a menacing figure, returns home from the hotel. His anger is evident as he heads to the back of his house, where he keeps many people locked in cages. Nearby, hungry dogs eye the prisoners. Malik orders his companion to release them, and it's revealed that among the prisoners, there are 4 boys and a girl. Malik forces the girl to sit in the middle of a market, commanding the crowd to stone her to death. The people begin throwing stones at her without hesitation. Suddenly, helicopters descend from the sky, and soldiers inside begin firing, causing panic among the crowd. The soldiers are there to rescue the girl, who is revealed to be their friend, Jake. They quickly pick her up and lift her into the helicopter. Malik destroys one of the helicopters, and the pilot, realizing Jake and other soldiers are on board, starts flying away to escape. Jake urges the pilot to stop, wanting to go back for his fallen companions, but the pilot refuses. From above, Jake sees his comrades have been killed and screams in horror. The scene shifts to a girls' school, where students are enjoying break time, laughing and joking. Suddenly, several vehicles storm the school grounds, and a man named Amir, along with his friends, begins attacking the teachers and students. He forces them into cars. Some girls run to the roof to escape. Amir aggressively demands to know the whereabouts of Durrani's daughter, but is met with silence. A teacher informs him that the girl is absent, which causes Amir to shoot her. Amir continues searching for the girl and eventually finds her. He orders his men to throw the other girls off the roof. Amir then records a video, boasting that he has captured the girl. He locks the girls in a room, where one of them reveals that they were trying to capture this girl because she had caused trouble for their army captain, leading to the army's intervention. Meanwhile, Jake, recovering from the traumatic events, attends a meeting with military officers. But they dismiss her concerns, saying they'll discuss matters after the upcoming holidays. Frustrated and powerless, Jake heads to a boxing gym to blow off some steam. After her math class, she meets a man named Travis, who helps her by showing pictures of the girls and Amir. Travis arranges a passport for Jake so she can travel to the place where Amir is holding the girls. At the airport, a man meets her and tries to be overly friendly, which makes her uncomfortable. He then drives her to a hotel, setting the stage for what comes next in her mission. A girl led Jake into a room where several other girls were already waiting. There was also a man named Dr. Mike in the room. Everyone introduced themselves to Jake, and then she began to focus on her mission. She started reaching out to the people she needed to contact in order to move forward. Later, Jake went to meet Travis. While they were talking, a woman approached them and urgently asked Jake to bring her daughter back from the terrorists. She promised that Jake would be well rewarded for her help, offering a large sum of money. Determined to continue her mission, Jake and her team set off on their journey. They needed to cross the border, but when they arrived, they found that it was closed. They had to wait for the border to reopen. They had a truck filled with medical supplies, and they planned to use that as an excuse to cross. However, when they reached the border, the army checked their truck thoroughly. Meanwhile, Malik called a girl and made her a deal. He told her that if she did something for him, she would earn her freedom. He handed her a letter and instructed her to deliver it to the police station. The girl agreed, wanting her freedom, and she took the letter to do as Malik asked. As soon as the girl entered the police station, the man quickly ran out of the car. Seconds later, there was a huge explosion. The bomb went off in the car and everyone outside ran for cover, shocked by the blast. The girl who had delivered the letter quickly told her companions about what had happened. Jake and her team finally managed to cross the border and reached a hotel. Jake disguised herself by wearing a burqa and went to meet a woman who lived in the area. The two women knew each other. Jake asked her if she knew where Malik was hiding, hoping to find any useful information. While Jake and her team worked on their tasks, Travis and the girls went to a location they thought was important. However, when they arrived, they found that the place had already been destroyed, which made Travis very angry. Meanwhile, the partner of the owner of the destroyed place took one of the girls in a car and drove her to the police station. He told her to go inside and give the letter to an officer. That night, the same group that had carried out the bombing at the police station struck again, this time blowing up another building. The army responded quickly to the situation, and Jake and her team took advantage of the chaos. They moved in, killing the remaining enemies and gathering weapons from the scene. Just as the army returned to the area, Jake and her companions filled their vehicles with the weapons they had taken and launched an attack on the army vehicles. The team used explosives to cause further damage and began to flee. During the chaos, one of Jake's companions was shot and fell from the car. Jake, unwilling to leave her behind, ordered the driver to turn the car around. She went back to help her injured companion and made sure she was safe. Jake and her team managed to escape with great difficulty, narrowly saving their lives. Sadly, Travis, one of Jake's closest friends, was shot and died during their escape. Jake was devastated by his death. She held his number tightly in her hand and sent one of her teammates to track the number, hoping to find a lead that could help them move forward. Jake prepared to bury her fallen friend. Just as she was about to do so, the woman who had promised to give money to get her daughter back from the terrorists arrived. This woman brought the money she had promised and wanted to give it to Jake and her team. She told them she wanted to help boost their morale so they wouldn't give up or run away from the mission. Meanwhile, the owner of the place they were attacking was trying to trap another girl, telling her that if she agreed to work with him, he would set her free. Jake's old friend arrived to meet her and the rest of the team. This friend introduced herself to the group and revealed crucial information about the terrorists' plans. She also mentioned a man who had been released from jail and was under surveillance by Jake and her team. They needed him because he could help them threaten the terrorists and free the girls they had captured. In the meantime, the team laid several traps for the army as they continued their fight. One of Jake's companions was badly injured and they had already lost several people. There were 2 drivers with Jake, but one of them had been killed. Despite the losses, they hadn't reached the terrorists yet. Jake was sitting, deeply disturbed by everything happening around her. It seemed as if she was losing her courage, especially with the pressure of worrying about the safety of every member of her team. Jake cried, feeling helpless. Then they got heartbreaking news. One of their teammates had been captured by the army. The army executed the girl, slitting her throat on live video. Jake screamed in horror after seeing this, her pain evident as she cried and screamed in anger. Jake later found out that it was her old friend, the one she had trusted and thought would sympathize with her, who had betrayed them. This friend had told the army about their plans. Furious, Jake confronted the woman and, in her rage, hit her. It turned out that this woman was one of Malik's associates, and she had been working with him all along. The old man who had been freed by the army was also in league with her. After leaving the scene, Malik came and took the old man with him. Jake, still determined, stood far away with her companions, watching everything unfold. She had secretly installed a tracking system on the woman's phone, which allowed her to track Malik's location. Jake and her team followed the signal, using secret routes to reach Malik's hideout. Upon arriving, Jake disguised herself by wearing a burqa, blending in with the other women who worked there. She kept a close eye on everything happening around her, making mental notes of important details. She then took the lift down to the area where the girls were being held captive. When Jake reached the girls, she sent their location to her companions, hoping they would be able to reach them soon. Meanwhile, Malik told one of the girls that if she agreed to marry him, he would free the other girls. To make her seem more like a bride, he had the girl decorated in wedding attire. However, things took a dark turn when Malik suddenly killed the old man with a sword. Jake saw this opportunity and took action. She shot the old man in front of the camera, making sure to capture everything on tape. While this was happening, her companions also reached the hideout and planted bombs in various places to help disrupt Malik's operations. Suspicion grew among Malik's group, and they began to make the women wearing burqas stand in front of them. They demanded that the women remove their veils to prove they weren't spies. When one woman didn't remove her veil, a man took it off for her. As soon as the veil was removed, the woman pressed a button hidden in her hand, triggering explosions throughout the hideout. Jack's team began freeing the girls, helping them escape while bringing them to safety. Finally, Jake came face to face with Malik, and a fierce fight broke out between them. After a brutal battle, Jake was able to kill Malik. Her companions continued fighting until their last breath, showing incredible courage and determination to finish what they had started. After the battle was over, Jake handed over the rescued girls and her surviving companions to the army. They all left the hideout in a helicopter. But Jake wasn't done. She had one more mission to complete. She wanted to continue saving more girls like the ones they had just rescued. So she chose not to go with the army. Instead, she stayed behind with her driver, ready to keep fighting for those who still needed help.